But like the three of us, like we'll wreck this deal so fucking hard the events will stop.
That's what I want. Because up until I
They're gonna be like there's like a no Calvo Texas 2000. There's the Texas 2000 minus C.
I'm Antonio Calvo, and welcome to Calvo Motorsports.
Tea time with Calvo, guest Mr. Billy Stocklin. I guess I met you through Fletcher Cox when you dropped off some tires at my shop, and I had no idea who you are, anything about you. And the CNC machinist was like, "Bro, do you know who the fuck that is?" I'm like, "No idea." He's like, "That's fucking Billy Stocklin." I'm like,
Some stupid dude that lives down the road.
I'm like, I have no clue who that is. And he's like, dude, he's one of the baddest motherfuckers around in the drag racing world. So then Google you. I think you and I talked a few times. And then years went by, and we put an automatic in the general, and I think that's when I hit you up for some help with the stator stuff. And I guess we've been kind of friends.
Yeah, we kind of got to be friends.
Bullshit.
Yeah, Fletcher was funny. Like, he called me. You were building him a CTSV, and he was like, "Oh, you need to take this down to Calvo's shop." And I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Dude, it's like right down the road from you." And I was like, "I don't know that dude."
Yeah.
And then like now we're friends.
Yeah, I remember you came in here and we were like showing you some of the
I was
cans.
like, "Man, you got a lot of cool shit laying around."
Yeah, we were doing some of the can stuff. With Fletcher's car. That's what we did. Colin did the CTSV package on it. We're showing you. You're like, "No stock ECU." I'm like, "No, he's getting
nothing.
All the gauges, everything to work." I think Colin did that package in like 4 days.
Oh wow!
And then I think Fletcher had some fun with that. He always had transmission issues with it, but I don't know who built the trans in that thing.
I don't know either.
It was like a 6L80 or something we swapped in with some controller or whatever.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, years later we're here we are.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your history, and people that don't know you, what your background is.
As far as motorsports or
anything.
So I got a pretty broad spectrum of experience, although most of it is drag racing stuff, but kind of been all over. I started off as a kid. The guy moved in across the street from me when I was a child, was a mud racer. And started bothering him when I was about 11 or 12. And I'd go work on his stuff and help him out, help wash it and clean it up after events and stuff. And then when I was 12, I started going on the road with him. My parents let me go. And had a good time doing that. And I did that for years with him. And then at some point, I discovered drag racing. I liked the finiteness of it, that, you get incrementals to the 10th, 100,000th, some tracks 10,000ths of a second. So like your changes are very not qualifiable but quantifiable. You can see exactly what the changes are, and you can watch your split. Maybe my 60's better, but my 60 to 330 isn't, or maybe my 60 to 330 isn't, but my 330 to 660 is. And then you can start picking pieces out of different tune-ups and runs and figuring out how to jam together, and then how can you analyze the data from the different changes and component changes, tune-up changes, and put that in like conditions, put all that together to make good runs. So then I went drag racing and got involved in a class that at the time was real popular in the late 2000s that was called Outlaw 10.5.
Okay.
And did fairly well for a while, and then decided to, it's a long story, but kind of decided to step out and become a tuner and help other people. And then a friend of mine named Frankie Taylor, he asked me to come step in and help him with a pro mod operation. And I didn't really know much about screw blowers. It's like a turbo, but for men.
Yeah.
And
turbo for men.
And sorry. So I went pro mod racing, and we won the ADRL National Championship in 2010. And then we went over to Doha, Qatar, and we raced over there for a while. And then,
That's when you work for Al-Anabi?
no, the first time I went over there was racing with Frankie. And then I came back and I did some Texas Pro Stock stuff and some Mountain Motor Pro Stock stuff. And, I'd made some commitments before we started getting kind of popular, So I wanted to make sure that I met all of the commitments that I'd made previously. And then Khaled Al-Thani from from Al-Anabi, Qatar. He was pursuing me, so I went and raced with him for a while. I got partnered up with a guy named Stevie Jackson, Stevie Fast, and I crew chiefed his stuff from off and on. We had a few little areas where we lost sponsorship and stuff, but I was with him from 14 until 21, something like that, 7 years. We did a lot of fun stuff. And then anyway, I went pro mod racing over there, came back, and then I got hooked up with Al-Anabi. I did NHRA Pro Mod, ADRL Pro Mod, and then Arabian Drag Racing League Pro Mod.
Holy shit.
Came back and so we'd go back and forth. We'd go and we'd win a championship here, take the same car over there, win a championship, come back here, win it, a championship again. We did that. We tick-tock back and forth, doing pretty good. And then the Al-Anabi deal kind of fell apart. And then a very good friend of ours, a guy named Khaled Al-Balushi, he drove a top fuel car for the Al-Anabi moniker for a while, and now he races for B1, which is Bahrain 1.
Okay.
And he helped us procure the Bahrain sponsorship. And super good dude. And then so we did that for a couple of years, won the NHRA Pro Mod Championships back-to-back in 19 and 20. Crew Chief of the Year in 19. I don't know.
So you have a little bit of drag racing experience under your belt.
You can learn a lot about things off the internet. Yes. I've read about it 2 or 3 times. Made a lot of good friends. Met a lot of cool people. Been afforded opportunity to go lots of places that a dumbass construction worker dude like me, I would have never been able to do. Racing has let me do lots of fun stuff and have lots of cool stuff.
Meet a lot of cool people. The one thing I've learned about this industry is it's allowed you to meet people all over the world.
Absolutely.
That you would have never met, be friends with, or even known if it wasn't for racing. Back in the day, forums. Now you have your Facebook groups of everything, and just the internet in general. I guess.
Yeah. And see cool stuff. Like the Bahrain 1 guys. Everyone. I invite you to Google the Bahrain car collection. It's one of these really in-depth, really eclectic, very complete. There's several McLaren F1s.
Is that the one that's it looks like a concrete building and one floor is one color cars, one floor is another color?
No, that's a different one.
Okay.
This one is all one. This is all on one level, and it's really, really cool. The guy has. I like it because I have crazy taste in cars, and some of my drag racing friends, they kind of look at me and they're like, well, wait a minute, that's a Ferrari, who cares about that? Or that's a Viper, who cares about that? Or that's a this, or whatever, that's a vintage Ferrari, why would you like that? This guy's got everything from Citrons to low mileage bugs.
He's got it all. He says, that's a local friend of mine, not to cut you off.
No.
Jeff Mosing is like that. He has everything from mini mokes to hypercars, F40s, 918s.
Yeah, and they had the wide body Countach, L5000s and F1 McLarens and 512 TRs, and then all the way down to 365 GTBs and just cars that you go, whoa.
You don't see that every day.
You don't see that every day. Yeah.
What do you how was your experience, I guess, going overseas and racing, for Al-Anabi all around the Middle East and everything versus, coming from Texas? I thought coming from New York to Texas was a massive life change,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine coming from Texas to go over to the Middle East.
So the places I've raced the most that are not in America is I've been to the Middle East a bunch, and I've been to Australia a bunch, and those are two very different experiences. The Middle East is lots of rules. When you go there, they make it very clear to you what to do, what not to do, how to conduct yourself. It's fun in that the competition is fun, but it doesn't quite have the same camaraderie feel like it does here. Australia is very different. I really enjoy going. Not that I didn't enjoy the Middle East. I had good times, but Australia is more about the camaraderie than it is the motorsports, and it's very much at least the group that I was with. Paul Mahoyat, the Moitz group. They, which we won a championship over there too, and it's all about a family experience and like having multi generations and everybody's together, and like it's a very, very, very family first, family driven group. And I always had a lot of fun in Australia. I actually took my wife and daughter over there. My wife Sherry and my daughter Ella, who's 16, going on 5 to 10 now.
I guess it's kind of funny. You've been kind of coming here and helping me, give me some pointers with some of the cars we're building.
Mostly just hanging out and making fun of you.
Pretty much, yeah. So, I guess you've never kind of been into, I don't really consider what we do like real racing. I think it's more of a fun sport for people to have fun. There's a lot of shit talking,
I think it's that paradigm shift is beginning. From the little bit I've watched, it seems like 5 years ago, it very much so was a bunch of dudes with cool sports cars talking shit to each other, and like I'm not going to call out any names because I don't know the guys, but there's some heavy hitters, some of which are local. To me, I see this market as a very kind of untapped, because right now it is like, so you have to understand, and you and I haven't had this conversation, but like for me, like when I was in Drag Illustrated, like they called me like I'm the king of data. And like, so me, everything is super duper duper results driven. This many hundredths of a second, this many drive shaft RPM, this many this. And when I talk to you, you make lots of comments about, oh, this MF feels really badass, or it's got a ton of power, or it's got this or that. And like, to me, that just doesn't compute. Like, and I think that as this market gets more competitive, you're going to have dudes like me interjected into it, in which I might not be an expert in Vipers, I might not be an expert in Motex or this, but I know how to go fast and win. and I think that's a big part of it, because, that's harder than people think. Like, you can't just have a bunch of money and cool shit and think you're going to show up and smash everybody's ass. Because the other 35 motherfuckers that showed up, they got cool shit and money too. So you got to have the right group of dudes that are in the right mindset, that have the right tools, that have the right spares, and there's some geeky dude that's behind the keyboard that's making it all happen. And it's not a carte blanche tune-up that's just riding a traction control going down the racetrack. It's somebody, and I'm not taking any pokes at anybody. I'm just saying it needs to move from being, or I feel like, it's better to say I feel like than it is to say it needs to. Like right now, it's really fast, really expensive street cars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. And there's a lot of nannies on the cars, like you were saying, the traction control, that I feel anybody, my wife hopped in a 1900 horsepower air shifted Viper and was doing 190 miles an hour on the way up to, right. So
Good call.
She's hopped in and
Shout out to Rachel.
Shout out to Rachel. She's hopped in a fucking underground, a 1600 horsepower underground car, and on 45 has made 180 mile an hour hits. The cars do a lot of the stuff for you, and I think things like traction control, it makes the car still feel like it's accelerating. And a lot of these guys get their first build, and it's a false sense of security, because when they do get sideways, or the car becomes unsettled for something, they don't have the experience to actually correct the car because it's never happened.
Well, and the other thing to remember is that the only thing traction control ever does is slow you down.
Correct. I 100% agree with that. Hey guys, if you're still watching, click the link below and subscribe to my channel. Means a lot. And back to the show.
So, and then like if you're running a combination at full boost and power, which I understand you have boost, you have boost and torque per gear and what this, but you always wind up having on a car like this, you always wind up with excess power, excess boost per gear, knowing that you're going to pile into TC to roll you back.
Well, we try. I don't know. Back in the day, before Colin had the torque management, you're limited. It's like these are street cars. They're not going to have CO2 boost control that has a 3-pound spring, and you can make fucking from 100 horsepower to 3,000 horsepower.
Just use a nitrous bottle a little bit. You'll be okay.
That is a little trick.
Well, quit being a pussy.
I think we're going to actually do that with one of the cars now, though.
What? Quit being a pussy?
Oh, I'm. You don't have to say for me to quit being a pussy. I think I proved that last August. I'm definitely not a pussy. We'll definitely say that. But I always once Colin got his torque management, we were able to in the lower gears, limit the torque so much that the cars don't ride traction control. Obviously
it's always way better.
Yeah.
Everything runs better. If you're talking about anything, like my experience is predominantly almost exclusively drag racing componentry, but any TC that you're riding, any traction control that you're riding,
it's slowing you down because it's an ignition cut. It's not
right. Because so think about this. So let's say you're a piston, right, and you're running up and down in your little, gay ass Nicosealed whatever, and like you're running up and down and like you're accelerating too fast. So something tells you to stop. So you get an ignition cut, you get a this cut, you get a that.
There's a recoup time.
There's a recoup time. The best runs that you'll ever make in any application, any motorsport stuff, is when you approach your TC limits, but you never touch them. Because anytime you touch them,
you're slowing the car down.
You're slowing the car down.
Yep. I worked with, up until recently, we had the rear-wheel drive 60 to... I don't know if you know what those draggy things are. The little draggies, they're like GPS based. You slap them in your window and it tells you literally it's a little app or whatever. So we
I know how to read and stuff.
Do you? Are you did you go to school? Where did you go to school? You went to UT, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I see how you're like mixing it up here and changing the question.
You're an educated person, right?
Educated.
So I worked. His name was Greg Blevins. He actually, I think, has a 10.5 Outlaw car that does real well. But he's a driver. He could give me good feedback, and we worked a lot together at night. And he was we were. He was like the one customer that would go make 2 pulls with his car, go home, pull the plugs out of the car, check the plugs, do everything, versus like just beating the shit out of the car over and over again. He was checking his tire pressures, playing with different stuff. And a lot of my customers, they didn't have the experience from their like race car stuff. They just hopped in and they're like, oh, I have a cool 2,000 horsepower street car. And we're actually, I think, on the draggy list, the fastest on the street rear-wheel drive 60 to 130 up until recently. But we got that car, basically, it just barely touched traction control on the hit coming off like rolling anti-lag. And I mean, the car was just to go 2.84 seconds, 60 to 130 in a street car that weighs...
That's pretty impressive.
3,800 pounds. And then the other real impressive thing was the 100 to 150 was 2.06 seconds. That's almost a 2-second flat 100 to 150 on...
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to do. And it's...
But the problem is you hit on something. You said it's 3,800 pounds. So and that's part of the problem here is you've got classes that don't have rules, but you got dudes that got nice cars.
Correct. I've been arguing with some customers of mine about this for a while.
So that's then guys show up and they go, I just want to kick everybody's ass. And you go, okay, well, your car's got 1,000 pounds of bullshit in it doesn't need.
Subwoofer, stereo system, air conditioning, power steering.
Yeah, Jorgen's dispenser, whatever. You got a bunch of stuff that you don't need, And like, but you got a swanky ass little Viper that you like to go rip around on the weekends.
Or take the dinner and this and that.
Dinner and like, so, and I think what's going to happen here from talks you and I have had and things that I've seen and things that I know is you're going to have a couple assholes step out and say, you know what?
Time to build a race car.
It's time to build a race car.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you look at those cars and like, they're not big, they're little, but like there's a lot of bullshit in there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can pull, I think, an easy 1,000 pounds out of them. You know, between the air to water systems, like there's definitely an improvement to be had on the weight of them.
Well, the next thing is you know, I've talked about it is, I think, you know, and I don't know how much you want me talking about specifics and stuff. But
you can, yeah.
I mean, like hundreds and hundreds of pounds of brakes, wheels, and tires.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could put a racy setup that just gets you from point A to point B if you're not worried about going to COTA, you know, every other Saturday or something.
Yeah, no.
If you want to set something up to wreck what you're famous for, I think you could set something up and wreck it.
That's the goal with the secret project.
Yeah,
so
I know that. I'm aware.
It's funny. So a good friend of mine, he was actually at my wedding. He has right now the King Dick GTR of all King Dick GTRs, built actually by another good friend of mine, Tony Palo, T1.
Yeah,
his name's Billy, and Billy's car just absolutely destroyed everything at TX2K last year in the roll race.
Destroyed everyone as far as winning, or destroyed everything as far as spitting a crank out?
Winning, like by
that's better than spitting a crank out.
Yeah, better than spitting the crank out. Yeah, they showed up and so TX2K was, don't quote me on the exact numbers, but it was a 1,600 foot roll race from 65 miles an hour, roughly.
Right.
And the year before, like 50 cars wrecked. You were getting a lot of these guys in
50 cars wrecked.
No, that's an exaggeration, but at least 20,
a lot.
20, 25 cars wrecked, something like that, I think.
So they're just spinning out, or?
I think you had a bunch of amateur drivers, and this is a subject I want to touch with you and get your feedback on. But you had a bunch of amateur drivers in these like R8 Huracan cars,
right?
And they, you know, it's a mid-engine, but the motor's still in the back.
Yeah, sure.
They like to lift the fronts up.
Yeah,
and new drivers, ton of power. No experience.
What define ton? Like they're 1,000 horsepower, or they're 3,000 horsepower?
They're like 2,000 plus horsepower.
Okay, big power.
Time, yeah,
big power.
Big
dudes
power.
Probably shouldn't be in them.
Correct. Yeah, definitely shouldn't be in it. I actually
gets light in the front end. Nobody lifts,
and they don't know what to do.
Spin around, and
lots of accidents. And so they shortened TX2K in 23 by I think 200 feet.
Yeah, why qualify your drivers when you can just ruin the event for everyone else?
Well, the shortening it was good because it was getting, I mean, you're having full weight street cars doing, no, I know you're fucking around, but full weight street cars going 235 through the track. Like the end of the run was past the scoreboards.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Like,
so you don't really know where to stop.
No, there's a checkered flag just hanging there. You know, so that was also telling you how far these cars were going. Most of them didn't have parachutes. And, you know, you're accelerating 200 feet past.
Where'd the wrecks happen?
All over the place. A bunch of people went into the sand, walls, off the hit. It was everywhere.
And the wall's way far back?
That was at Royal Purple.
Oh.
Yeah, Royal Purple, yeah. So they were hitting it like a little past the tree, and you have 1,600 feet. So these are cars that were going 220. The fast cars were all 220 plus. You know, and that's, you know, in drag racing for a street car, that's fucking moving, you know.
Oh, yeah, 220, yeah, you're getting it.
You know, Underground Racing had the record at 236, and Billy's GTR went 237, 200 or 250 feet in a shorter distance last year.
Oh,
yeah, it was, I think in the podcast that they just released last week, he was saying that the car made like 3,000 wheel at like 75 pounds of boost or something, and they had it at almost 90 pounds when it was on methanol. Yeah, little, I think they're 4 liters that they have in them, like stroked out 4 liter billet block, but still DCT cars. I know Billy's car, I think, has a full interior in it. The only thing it doesn't, I think the radiator's in the back because the turbos are up front, but it has coolant going through it.
That's crazy to me.
That a little...
I think it's got 3,000 plus horsepower, and it's got full interior and all the crap. And like, to me, like, that's kind of what I'm getting at is, what is the series of events that, and I know that you build these cars, you sell these deals, but like, who needs a 3,500 pound street car that's got like a Rockford Fosgate and some 10s in the back?
McRippins.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, I get the 1300X cars because that's like a badass driver that's a car. You can have a sequential or a clutch pedal and go drive it. When you start talking about 3,000 horsepower,
I think the world is jaded because you have like...
And I'm not trying to piss off your customers.
Oh, no.
At all.
Listen, this is a constant battle with my customers. And I think it's kind of funny we're touching on this because I literally have this conversation almost every day. These guys want to go compete, and I'm like, dude...
Make a fucking race car, dude. Like, you got money. You got cool shit.
You
like,
spend $250,000 on a build, go buy the cheapest shell, a salvage title shell, and go build a purpose-built race car. And
then have your 1300X that you can go do like coke off the stripper's tits on.
That's
no big deal.
That is exactly
But then have a race car that makes you famous, that puts you on the cover of the magazines.
That's it. Or
right?
Nobody wants to put automatics in these cars. I'm like, you have something since 1950 something that has been tried and true and developed, right? Turbo 400, Glide, like they're proven.
My buddy Mark Mickey, Troy, like them dudes, they effing kill it.
We put one in the general, and like it's a learning curve for us. It's kind of why I wanted your help with stuff, but we have not had a transmission problem with that car.
That's because the transmissions are badass.
They're not indestructible, but
they're not indestructible, but they're badass.
Yeah. It's
Mark does a great job. I don't know if any of y'all, like Mark Mickey does his transmissions, does most of the transmissions for fast stuff. Like, he does a smashingly good job.
Yeah. No, I was so shocked on how smooth the car drove even on the street. Like, You're just like, man. I think a lot of
I get if you want to go make hot laps at Coda. That's probably not what you want.
In a Turbo Viper, probably no.
No.
Yeah, no. Turbo.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You need to classify yourself. Figure out where you want to be. Find your lane and do the best effing job you know of dominating that lane.
Correct. I think that's why the secret car is going to be so great. Is everybody, Billy's car, the underground cars, they're insanely impressive. I mean, I think the underground cars are close to 4,000 horsepower out of a Lamborghini. That's got to...
I didn't really keep up with this stuff until you and I started to be friends. Just being honest.
Yeah, it's not your realm. Just like
not my realm.
Just like the pro mod stuff, I like watching it, because it's cool, but I don't know the ins and outs like you do.
Right, and like you ask me questions sometimes where like you'll ask two questions in a row that is like tremendously stupid.
Thank you.
And then you ask a third question that is like tremendously on point. And then I see, hey, these two questions you don't have the experience base.
Correct.
And then what you really were is you were leading up to this third one.
Question.
And you wanted to know this underlying this or that,
So just skip the two stupid questions and go straight to the third.
But that's what gets you to where you're at, right?
I like
the underground stuff and the roll racing stuff. As a competitive drag racer for years and years and years and years, you look at that with a jaded eye, right? And you don't respect it much. No offense. Don't hate me. But now that I'm getting to be friends with you and I see the stuff and I see the cars and I see the data a little bit, and we talk about it, it's like there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It really is. It's super impressive when you consider 100% of the cars that were competing were at a Hooters within 48 hours. 100%.
Or a strip club. Hooters, a strip club.
Right. But I think that's what's going to get beaten out of it.
it's funny. You have the Lambo guys, and there was this one guy. He was a customer of a good friend of mine, Sean Ivy, in New Jersey. Ivy Tune. It's a GTR shop, and
I know that name.
He's been around forever. He's like an OG tuner. He used to be a super guy, big Jamaican guy,
right?
Out of New Jersey. Used to race at Englishtown all the time back in the day.
Before it turned into a parking lot.
Before it turned into a parking lot. Yeah, fucking sucks, doesn't it?
Cocksuckers.
Yeah, I grew up. That was my mom lived like 20 minutes from there. I used to
D-Town?
Yeah, I used to drive to Englishtown in high school with ET Street drags and radials in the front because I didn't know any better, and I would only have enough gas to put 2 gallons of Sunoco 112 at the pump. So I'd drive there with an 8th tank, put my 2 gallons, pull my wastegate hoses.
Boom.
Let's
go.
I was running 1020s, I think, in high school.
What?
Yeah, I'll find my buddy posted a video of it. Before we started this podcast, I said my buddy from 7th grade that I was talking to the other day.
Yeah, we're just talking about that.
He posted it, I think, about 6 months ago on my Facebook. Look what I found on an old computer at my mom's house.
What?
And it was my 300ZX. I might have been.
This is the one that had the broken transmission and the get drag and all that.
Oh, that's a Supra.
No.
It was my 300ZX in high school, and we didn't know jack shit about cars, but I knew that if I pulled the wastegate hose with race gas, it went really fucking fast. And so I would drive on ET Street drags, which were bias ply with my normal front tires.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole time on back roads going like this. Yeah. And then
way bad.
Make my 2 passes with the 2 gallons of gas I put, reconnect the wastegate lines, put pump gas in it, and drive back to my mom's house.
And lie to her about where you'd been all night.
Huh?
And lie to her about where you'd been all night.
No, I told her I was going to the... Oh, she knew. Yeah, she hated the car stuff, my mom. Oh,
I always like Englishtown. Everything about that place, except never had good cell phone service there.
Oh, I hated the front road getting in there, especially when there was like...
And there's like houses across the street.
Yep.
And they'd always stand there in the front yards and look at you like you were the devil.
You were ruining their traffic. That one road going into Englishtown where traffic was always miserable.
It's like Commerce, Atlanta. You'd go through there and like, this is always terrible.
But it's funny they back to the roll race stuff.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's how they think, the GTR and Lambo guys, the all-wheel drive and this and that, and it's like they don't realize a rear-wheel drive car can keep up. They have this thing about the all-wheel drive cars are the best things around, DCT transmissions, et cetera, et cetera. And I think they're going to be very surprised, like you said, in the next coming years with some of there's no rules. Like, you were so shocked when I told you there's no rules.
Okay. When the safety rules are things like you need to have closed-toed shoes and long pants. That's bad.
I mean, that's at least now they're saying you have to have like actual real racing shoes. It is pretty crazy when you see somebody with their helmet, a racing suit, gloves on, with their, what are those freaking weird shoes that everybody wears that are what are they called? They look fucking funny. No. They have a fucking weird name, like Ouija's or something. I forget what they're Yeezys, like Yeezys are made out of nylon. It's like, dude, your car's gonna catch on fire and that nylon is like, you think you're protected. Well, what's the first thing that burns in a car, like with an engine fire? It's going to come through to your feet, right? Yeah. And it's like your Ouija's, or your, not Ouija, I keep calling them Ouija's, your Yeezys, that nylon's going to burn right into your skin, but yet you have a $6,000 Stilo helmet on, your fucking badass suit, your all this stuff, and it's like they're in a $500,000 Lamborghini with...
And that's what I see. Because, like, to me, I come from a very unfettered, it's drag racing stuff. You go to the drag strip, and, like, one guy might be in a beat-down-ass 70 Nova, and the next dude's in a carbon fiber Pro Mod. But, like, it's very distinct. You go, this ET, you have this safety equipment, you have this. And then, like, you send me the rules to this stuff, and I'm like...
You were laughing at me. You're like...
I'm literally, like, sending you text messages with, like...
Closed-toed shoes. Like
WTF? Like, closed-toed shoes? Like, are you for real? Like, I mean... you got like a piece of wedding cake with that or something? Like there's no, like to me, it doesn't make any sense. Because I'm used to being, when we go make a good run, somebody's in my pit and telling me to take the cylinder heads off, pull the transmission out, pull the differential out, and show me that you have the right rear gear ratio, show me you have got the right stuff in the transmission, show me you've got the right bore, you've got the right stroke, show me the insert in the top of your supercharger, show me this, show me that. And like they're in my shit so aggressively that it's like out of control. And then like I talk to you and you're like,
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
You want to put twin
fucks.
106s? Like, let's put twin 106s. The only thing I argued with
twin
Peter,
160s. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
It's mind blowing. The only thing I argued after my accident, I learned a lot from my accident about safety stuff.
Yeah.
It was a pretty bad wreck, but I learned one of the biggest things I noticed was no matter what article of clothing I either had cut off me or took off me, there was just the glass never stopped getting out of my shoes, my helmet, everything.
Okay, so let me cut you off. Anybody that sanctions an event with cars that are fast like this that doesn't mandate that you have Lexan windows,
it's not allowed.
That's narcissistic. Like you're going to hurt people. Like that's fucking stupid.
It's not allowed, and I fought finally. He finally is making an amendment to the rules that the Elite 8, the top fast cars, the 8 fastest cars, can have Lexan. Because I told the promoter,
Why don't they just tell them you got to take the seatbelts out?
Oh, you have to have a passenger seat too. You have to have a passenger seat door cards. Yeah, they're street cars. There's things that I get. You don't want to have Pro Mod showing up racing street cars. It takes it out of it. Which I understand that, but I think the problem is these street cars have gotten so fucking fast that they're entering, like, we're talking about the car you and I are trying to build, 4,000 plus horsepower.
Oh yeah.
And at 4,000 plus horsepower, like, you can die really fast, you can get hurt really fast. Like there's a lot of shit that can go wrong. And it's just the few times you've come here and kind of just showed me some of the safety stuff, like tying the dash bar to the mid plate or to the not the mid. It's the trans plate. The adapter plate, things like that. Like I would have never thought, oh man, when my car is tumbling at 200 miles an hour like it was the last time, I can get impaled by a steering wheel.
Well, that's what I like. Like when I talk to you about this stuff, I feel like lots of times I say something to you and there's like this ding, and I see it in your eyes. You go, oh wow.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't want to get impaled by a steering wheel.
I don't want to die by having this shaft shoved through my heart.
Yeah, I don't. That's definitely not the way. And it's one of those situations. I think we are evolving as the roll race street cars into a full-blown race car, but we don't have all the race car protocol.
Right.
I think that's a huge problem because, the other issue is you can't have all the race car protocols and then go drive your car on the street without a helmet. It's one of those, what do you want to do? And this is the battle I have with my customers and my friends, and I think the whole roll race, and I love it. It's fun.
Well, the problem is you have sports like drag racing, right? In drag racing, it's very definitive. You have this ET cutoff. If you do this, now you have to do this. And if you do this, now you have to do this. Well, like, if you do that to roll racing and you tell a guy, hey, if you go 250, you got to do this, well, you're going to have dudes that got shit that'll go 300, and they're going to rip up to the finish line and jam on the brakes, and they go 250. So like it's hard to quantify. It's hard to make it be policeable. And that's what I see, because I've learned a lot about this in the last 6 months, 8 months. So like in drag racing, it's it's a very click, 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 click. And I think that the roll racing scene is going to change because you got a lot of people that show up, and I've seen all the videos in the undergrounds, and like they got nice shit, and you got nice shit, and there's other guys that got nice shit. But like, you got dudes showing up with like 3,500 horsepower.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which, you know, like, and I get like a lot of those guys got all-wheel drive, and that's cool. Like, if you don't know how to make your car work and you need four-wheel drive, that's cool. But like, you're gonna have thresholds that the amount of safety equipment and the style of the car needs to change. Because like, dude, like you got a shop out here that's full of them.
Literally full of them.
Literally.
I think.
Like, and there's a couple out here like 1300Xs and maybe even 1800s, but like, dude, like an 1800 horsepower street car, like how many dudes have, on a scale from 1 to 10, like how many people have sat inside of a car that's got 1800 wheel?
Not many. I mean, I think the fastest car I ever drove up until we started doing the Vipers was a 1200 horsepower Supra. And then we went immediately 1200 in my Supra, and then we built the orange car.
Right,
that thing
General.
The General, and that thing made 1300 horsepower on a stock motor, and it had a stock tier.
We need to put the O.5 on the door and make it the General Wii.
Did you see the little what is it called? It's the smart car. It looks like the General. We should get one of those.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we should get one of those to push the car up to the starting line.
Oh, I'll buy that bitch.
But
it'd be funny.
We pulled the motor out, built the motor, put a sequential transmission and twin.
So that was originally a stick shift car.
Stick shift.
I mean, they're all stick shift cars.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, it was manually shifted. It had a stock transmission in it for the longest time, and I mean that car was the car that first went 190 and a half mile stock motor. It did a lot of really impressive things. And then we were like, okay, next package. Well, the problem was the next package made fucking 1900 wheel.
No, that's a problem.
And it made 1900 wheel at midnight. We loaded the car up at 1 a.m., drove to Colorado, and my fucking first pass was like a 207.
Yeah.
And in the half mile. I never drove, and I was talking to Colin. We went there, no roll cage.
Oh, that's before it had a roll cage.
No roll cage, stock seats, stock seat belts. And they told us as I was pulling up, you get one warning, second run you get kicked out. Well, I got my one warning on the first run. And then Colin was like limiting the throttle bodies to like a speed limiter so we can try to dial in half track. We didn't expect to go that fast first pass.
Right.
And this is 2016. And then, I think at the end of the event, before we were going to get kicked out, I said, all right, let's wheel one more time. Boom.
Let's just rip it.
Let's rip it, 208. And this is in Colorado where we were like fighting wastegate issues. We didn't have enough turbo. A line flew off. We finished the car. We literally finished the car at 1 a.m., went home, showered, came back, and drove 20 hours.
Oh, really?
4 dudes in a truck with a single fucking trailer.
Wow.
It was pretty wild. I never drove a car that fast.
Right.
I literally
who has?
Nobody.
Right?
And then
Nobody.
Just literally, but the problem is you have a bunch of idiots like me and
that are willing to do it.
They're like, oh, these cars just go dead straight, no problem. You hop in them and it's like, boom, and then they have, like I was saying, the traction control nanny, stability control, all this other stuff that the cars literally, they're like, the stigmatism about the Viper was torque monster that fucking wants to spin out and kill you and this and that. Like, I was telling you, my wife can make fucking pulls in a 1900 horsepower Viper. Hold the steering wheel, floor it. It does. It shifts for you. It fucking, ignition cuts for you, stability control for you.
Just stab the throttle.
Just stab the fucking throttle and go, and it does. And I think you're going to see, like you're saying about the shift of, man, let's get some real racers in here. And I'm like, the people that are winning are real racers,
oh, yeah. No, like, I'm not trying to take anything away from the guys that are winning. But what I'm saying is like, how should I say this right?
Don't who cares? Fuck
way-
it. I talk shit all day
These
long.
motherfuckers will rue the day that I decide I want to build one. Right? Or they will super rue the day that I decide I want you and me to team up on one.
Well, we are on that one.
Well, I mean, where I'm like, we will have swanky ass, and like, the problem that I have with doing that is I know we'll go to one event and the rules will change, everything will change, the tech will change. When you go, yes, it'll change.
I don't think so.
Guarantee fucking to you.
I think honestly, it's been such a long progression of power, and the rules haven't changed. I don't think they will.
Okay, so you're gonna edit this shit out, but like, this shit should go 300. And like when somebody shows up and goes 50 miles an hour faster than anybody else, they're gonna start. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, we go fucking 250, no problem with 2,800 in a drag car, which you're not going to accelerate like a drag car.
No.
Like, right? You're not going to. They got a mile.
Half mile. At
Okay, you got twice the range and no fucking rules. If you let you and me build a car, how fast are we going to go in a half mile? My buddy Al just said it's going to go 295. And that's what I'm saying is like, no, I don't even think it'd be that hard.
Yeah.
And like, but the problem is like, but because it's an untapped market, like you're talking about dudes that are swanky ass Supras and dudes from Miami, and I'm not gonna say names and stuff because I know some of the names, and like you might play some of this, even though I'm gonna punch you in the dick. But like, like that's not the dude that'll do it. But like the three of us, like we'll wreck this deal so fucking hard the events will stop.
That's what I want, because up until
they're gonna be like, there's like a no Calvo Texas 2000. There's the Texas 2000 minus C. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, because he and I, like, we've traversed, this is my buddy Al DeBoer, like, we've done crazy ass shit on multiple continents, on different places, and like, and people always say, well, that can't be done, and like,
then you do it.
Then you do it.
That's what we did with the Viper.
Right.
And then I stopped. My biggest problem.
Talking about fucking 4,000-pound Vipers.
Yeah. Well, my biggest problem was with the Viper stuff was I put so much time, R&D, and money to get. We didn't sell our first Viper package for almost 2 years.
Well,
like
the problem is the asshole deals with the big power. That doesn't make any money.
No,
the 1300Xs.
That's what makes money. Yeah, a 2,000 horsepower car.
How could you not like a 1,300 horsepower Viper that you can get into and drive to St. Louis?
Everybody would love that. Cranky Pete. We had a crank, right? And this was the first problem.
Cranky Pete.
His name's Pete, and he's cranky as shit. He's old as fuck. So he's the best crank grinder in the fucking world. I'm gonna say, right? What do you think, Al? Like very good. I've never gotten a fucking to the 10th exactly what he cuts it every fucking time. The radius, what is it? The flute on the fucking cranks are always perfect, right? So there was one day an issue with a motor. We took it apart, and I said, this thing's got 4,000 clearance on the mains. You're an idiot. You don't know how to measure this and that, right? And that's typical fucking. It was, you could not tell him wrong. I had the machinist that.
Al, why don't you come sit down?
Al, come sit down. Okay. So Shelby Mike, who's the head machinist at Texas Speed, CNC guy, has been machining everything since he's a little kid. He measured it to the 10th. So Shelby Mike measured the crank. Tim measured the crank. Dennis measures the crank. He tells us.
Well, I can tell you, like, if you tell me Dennis Murray measured the crank,
There's no fucking doubt about it's perfect. We all got to the 10th.
Dennis is as good as it gets.
Dennis is the best.
He's the best.
The fucking best. I'm so happy I'm learning from him.
That dude, like, he taught me how to machine shit. He taught me how to weld. He taught me how to TIG weld. Like, when I was a child. Like, that's a bad
He's got
motherfucker.
still the same TIG welder.
Does he really?
Yes. I used it the other day. It's still the same one from like fucking 1980 something.
Super good dude.
Very good dude. I am so fortunate that he has kind of taken me under his wing and is teaching me all the machining stuff, because I believe that is
in a couple years you'll say this about me about winning.
I hope, but that is a dying art. It's an art.
What,
it's
winning?
Not, well, winning's, yeah, that's an art, but machining, like good fucking machining,
I'm just
is
being
an
a
art.
dick.
Like,
I'm sorry.
You know, he was telling me the other day, he was visually looking at one of my hones that I did, and he said, slow your little pumps down because you're getting too much angle on the crosshatch.
Yeah, the crosshatch is rough. You
You
need it to be like this.
So
most of those guys are looking for like a 30 degree.
22 degrees.
Oh, okay.
22 degrees is like what he tries to target.
I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know that, but I know that like when you go fast, it makes for fast. Like they're looking for.
So what Dennis was telling me, because I asked him, what's the I can't pronounce it, the gauge that can actually measure your crosshatch. It starts with a P. I forget what it's called, but it can measure your crosshatch and the angle of your crosshatch and the depth of your crosshatch. So I started asking Dennis about it, and he goes, yeah, so, when Total Seal came out with these, like, new rings, basically, I called them and I talked to them, and they said what I was doing already was exactly what I should be doing, and, I figured it out before they told me. And
right. That's a Dennis move.
That's a Dennis move. Like, he said to me the other day on those funny cars, that woman's funny car that he does, those Brad Anderson motors, they measure the back pressure or crankcase pressure, and he has 2 pounds of crankcase pressure in a 4,500 horsepower, screw blower, fucking
right
methanol car. I mean, 2 psi is nothing. Like, it's, some people can't stop the fucking catch cans on a street car from filling up at 1,000 horsepower, and Dennis has that shit sealing at.
Yeah,
it's incredible. But anyway, back to our conversation we started outside with our mutual friend. He had it. Dennis measured it. We measured it. Shelby Mike measured it. Pete measured it. And said, all you guys are wrong. Right? So we sent everything to him. He didn't call me. Sends us an email. I owe you guys a case of beer, and I guess you guys aren't fucking retards. That was his response to his fuck up.
That's just hard.
So then what was happening with the motors was machine them. Ross Baird would at Dinosaur Powerhouse would spec everything and build the short block. The short blocks would come here. We would degree them, put the heads on, measure push rods, put them together, put them in. The recipe was great. Ross decides he wants to retire. So we said, okay.
Big problem.
Then we hit not a roadblock, but limits of materials, head gaskets, valves, everything. And we figured out what we needed to do. And was saying about this whole fire ring deal, right? And I was like, cool, let's do it. And he goes, I want to assemble your motors valve cover to oil pan. And I said, I would love that. That's the way Underground does it. We've had great luck with everything. Doesn't
Proline do most
Proline,
of them?
yeah. Proline literally takes.
They send the engines out the door.
fucking
Because I worked for Proline.
Oh, I didn't know.
My Australia deal was a Proline deal.
Cool. So you know Doug over there pretty well.
Oh yeah,
So Doug,
all of them.
Doug, I had some old Viper questions, and Kevin was cool enough to put me in touch with Doug, and Doug told me what his findings, and then I had some other findings, and we now have a pretty solid engine program. But yeah, so we got these 5 motors, and literally every single one blew up on the fucking dyno doing drivability, and we said, I literally.
So let me ask you. You said they blew up doing drivability, so they didn't blow up on full throttle runs.
They didn't even make it that far.
Oh, they didn't make it that. So you do drivability before you do power runs.
Yeah, this was on our dyno jet. We didn't have maps. This was our jumping into the market, right, on the big power stuff. And
right.
We'd get into it, and it was like Colin when I say drivability, I mean within 5-10 minutes on the dyno.
Oh shit.
That Colin noticed, hey,
this bitch ain't got no oil pressure.
11 pounds at idle.
Yeah,
6 pounds at idle. And
that's okay if you got that's okay if you got a pro stock car running some sort of zero weight.
These things weren't hitting more than 45 pounds, blowing fucking the catch cans at idle, just puffing like crazy. And all of them, it was, I think, 5 motors. All of them wound up blowing up. When we took them apart, we noticed the rod caps were loose on one of them. And
that's like 5 of them. Like, that's hard to like recoup from.
I almost bankrupted the company with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're talking, we were getting charged $17,000 in just machining and assembly. Plus, dude, I mean, think about custom titanium and Inconel valves, Jessels, Callie's billet cranks, fucking, Dyer rods. Like you're talking 60,000.
And that's when you made the swap to Dennis Murray?
Yes. Yeah.
So how did you get hooked up with Dennis?
Dennis from Boost Logic.
Dennis did Boost Logic.
He did all the super motors. He did all.
Did he really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I remember when Dennis was at the little shop off I-35 that was like in those like garages that fucking dude, you couldn't
down there by 51st.
You could not fucking get a motor in the front door because it was like this wide.
Yeah.
And then you'd walk into the machine shop, and I don't think the whole machine shop was as wide as it was like a dark cave. And that's a lot of where the Boost Logic motors came from, GTR motors.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dennis did them all. That 1,200 horsepower 997 Porsche motor, that was Dennis.
Dennis is like a tremendously skilled.
Oh, dude.
Super smart.
What I'm learning there is, and he's so humble about it. He's
super duper smart.
That's the fucking coolest thing about this guy. He's just so down to earth and humble about anything and everything about machining. He's like, oh yeah, he taught me the other day how to line bore main caps, right? And I'm looking at him.
It's more complicated than most people would think.
But I'm like, Dennis, you don't have a line bore machine here.
If you're smart, you don't need it.
And I said,
if you're smart.
So I take the main caps that we have made for us,
right?
And you put it on the block, and now that I'm getting good with everything, there's 65 thousandths of material left in the main cap. And he's like, oh yeah, you just take the little thing that's in the fucking cabinet over there, you put the main cap on it, center it up on the lathe, and you cut fucking 60 out. Make sure you leave 5, and then
leave 5, put it in there, and
then when you're done, let me know. Did him, let him know. He's like, okay, Tony, cut 10 off the fucking cap. And then I'm like, so.
Is that the same Tony that's worked for him forever?
Yeah, the big white beard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
2 of the baddest fucking machinists I've ever met in my life. And so I'm like, okay. My big first fear in the whole using his lathe was it's a 4-jaw lathe, unlike my 3-jaw.
Yeah.
So you have to index it. And I remember.
Yeah, because it's different. Because 3 versus 4.
Well.
Because a 4 will concentric.
Correct. And you got to do each individual one. So I'm sitting there with
3,
a fucking. You just have the one turn.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to sit there and the first time I did it, it must have taken me an hour to get it fucking centered. right? Because I was like within 2, and then I did something and it threw it off to 12, and then it was bad, and I just started over. But
You're like, fuck.
now I got it down. I think pretty good. I get it within within a half. So
A half is tight. It's good.
yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself on that one. Actually, I'm gonna toot my own horn on that one.
Yeah.
So I cut like the 60 out of the cap, and then I'm like, okay, what do you do with this? And he goes, oh, throw it on that little roll cart there. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean throw it on the roll cart? He goes, you're going to take this bar, put the 2 stock caps on the end, and then I'm going to take
And then spin it again.
No, he takes a fucking reducer, like a speed reducer, a 4-to-1 speed reducer, puts it on the back and just fucking bolts this little contraption to the fucking bottom of the block, and then takes a drill and just puts it in a bore bar that he made with a fucking cutter that is adjustable this way, and then fucking you pin it this way, and you cut the cap, and then you make sure it just barely scuffs the block, and he goes, okay, cool. Now you put it in the lathe or in the line hone.
Wow.
And
That's pretty impressive.
It's fucking perfect every fucking time. It's yeah.
Dennis is a good dude. He's always been a good dude.
I'm gonna say a lot of our success has been because of Dennis.
You think so?
I think it's been multiple things, but I mean, dude, if you have motors that fucking fail or motors that smoke or motors that puff, like, you know, he was the one that told me when we started using ethanol, oh, why don't you try this 16th top ring, 16th inch top ring? I never knew
What
that there's.
were you using before?
Like a 1.2 millimeter, like whatever. And I kept talking to my sales rep at Diamond, and they were like, oh, just try, gapping the ring a different size and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And Dennis is like, no, use this stone with this ring, and boom, all of a sudden,
Everything started making power and living.
yeah. Those 5 motors, speaking of making power, those 5 motors, disassemble them. They're all the same engine. Not a single bearing clearance was the same. Right? You're supposed to have 5 motors.
That's from the previous guy.
Previous guy. And what's crazy is we got motors from him that ran for fucking years. Great oil pressure, this, that. It just was not consistent. And what we found...
That's in the time frame of his dad dying. But what I'm saying is like he's not a bad dude.
You either had amazing or catastrophic failure. There was no in between, and they were not consistent. And when you're paying listen, I had no problem paying those $17,000 bills, right? Right, I had no problem paying them. That was not discussed. That was because the short.
You would think he would take care of that.
Listen, everybody needs to make money. I see what it takes now to machine an engine, and let me tell you something. Nobody gives machinists enough credit. Besides being an art form, machining engines, like the crosshatch, everything else in it, it takes such a skill set and knowledge and just time.
No, but I mean,
it's
like,
not. But that was. I'm gonna say something, and you got to take everything in life as a life lesson. It was a lesson that pushed us how to fucking go into the engine theory and learning really
That's what
every
I told you
last
when we
bit.
talked about it.
The only way for any company to be successful in this industry is so niche, and there's so much liability in it. And I talked to this. I was talking to a few people of my friends that own shops, and we're like our own little support group, fucking complaining about everything. You have a contractor will come in, they'll say $1,500 to fucking frame that door, right? Their liability in that door is fucking almost nothing, right? And they have basically a fucking half inch to fuck with on everything that you can shim this, that, and then you put a fucking piece of molding over it.
And you got a thou and a half.
Thou and a half, we're fucking splitting tents. And most people don't understand
You know what I'm saying?
But most people don't understand what a tenth of a thousandth really is. Like, and a lot of these guys that own these cars.
Nobody understands that.
No, but an honest realization is a lot of my customers are blue collar business working guys, right? Construction, trucking, AC, whatever it is, right? So you can say,
But I think that's part of the Viper. I think that's part of the
that's just
Viper
like
deal.
the in general, like
The dudes that are generational wealth, that's more of the Ferrari guys. You know, like the guys that are like, hey, I busted my fucking ass and like I didn't come from anything and now I got money. I want a fucking 1,800 horsepower Viper.
But those guys know. Let me go back to what I was saying. Those guys don't understand what a thousandth of an inch is because they're fucking around with a half inch to frame a door that takes an hour to fucking plywood, this, that, blah, blah, zero liability. You have a human hair is 3/1000ths of an inch.
Right.
So if you want to fucking start splitting to tenths of a thousandth, you're taking a human hair and dividing it into 30, right? And that's how we have to measure, is taking a human hair and splitting it into fucking literally 30 to fucking 20 to 30 pieces. Then the liability in that is so massive because you have a crankshaft that's $8,000. You have lifters that are $1,500. You have, and all it takes is, and nobody's perfect.
No.
All it takes is one person to have a fucking bad day to put something together, and you just took $50,000 and threw it out the fucking window.
Yeah, for certain.
And nobody understands that shit. And I'm going to go back to what we were saying before, but if it's one thing I learned from that experience, and just any negative experience in life, you have to take that as a learning experience. I took that as a learning experience. Is like, that was the push I needed for us to fucking do everything here. And I think that's one of the reasons.
Ultimately, it was an avenue for you to make things better.
Make things better, but it was also the avenue to make sure that I had the push to say, you know what? I need to be the forefront of my own quality control.
Yeah.
And I can't rely on anybody but myself and my team. And if my team fucks up, which I have one of the best if it's one thing about my team, like those guys, Jaime, Tim is one of the baddest motherfuckers I know around.
It seems like you have a pretty kick-ass group.
Those guys, I mean, Jaime with the transmission and diff stuff, like, I mean, most of the PPG stuff, we showed PPG how to build their own transmissions. The first one that we did came out of the car 14 times because they did not have a packing, a bill of materials for everything that needed to go in the transmission. We were missing one spacer and the fucking transmission wouldn't shift and they had no directions to put it together. So they sent us a gear set. And then finally Jaime was like, dude, I think there needs to be a shim in here. And it took 14 times in a 1 week. We pulled the transmission on this guy's car to fucking learn that, like,
14 times in 1 week?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 14 times. Pull it. Disassemble the whole fucking. I think it was like almost a week and a half.
So how does that work out? Like, because you can't charge.
I ate it.
Yeah,
I ate it. This is the stuff. You know, people want to say about the race world is much different than our world, and I think it's because you guys are at such a higher.
But it's funny to me that you would even say that sentence because you got like. I won championships with 2,800 horsepower blown alcohol Hemis. You have dudes driving around in street cars
that have more power,
that have 600 more horsepower. So when you say you guys as the race car guys,
no, I'm saying you guys have a higher level of. I don't know how to pronounce how to say.
I can tell you when you get somebody that gets engaged enough to do a Billy mindset car with an Antonio smarts for the stuff that's going into it, you will train wreck this fucking market.
That's my goal. That is my literally.
It will fucking reinvent.
If it's one
Al and I have talked about this, and Al, like when we walked away from here the first time, Al was like, I can't say what he said because it's like
say it.
I'm not gonna say it. I won't do it.
Say it. I'll edit it if it's bad. I don't care.
He's like, you will train wreck these. He's like, these don't know what's coming when they get you involved. This is what he said to me. He says, when they get you involved, you will run the ground, they will all stop, and these events will stop.
That's what I hope.
Because nobody will want to race against you.
And
Because like he and we walk through these deals and you give us your code and we come over here and we look through your shit and we know what they make for power and you got a dyno and he's like, don't know what's coming.
that's the difference between the street cars and a fucking professional race team.
Right.
And
because
that's honestly what it is.
Professional dudes.
It's just different.
It's
just
too
different.
So much different.
And that's
I know
the
you
thing.
can't-
You
I
have
know you
two
can't-
different worlds that haven't collided yet. And you know what's going to happen when they collide? It's the secret project.
That's right.
The secret
They need to
project.
get back in that rule book and start getting some safety.
Oh, I told Al before, and I said, when I asked you about the car in the back that's wrecked, and I said, this is when I was getting to know you. And I said, I don't know me do what I want to do. Right?
Do whatever the fuck you want.
And I told him, and I said, we need to make a deal with him to give us the car in the back. That's when I
do me a
started
favor?
sending you the deal.
Take it away from me,
And
so
I
I don't have
said,
to look at it anymore.
We will build a car that is 1,500 pounds lighter than anything these assholes got. And we will fucking train wreck. And I'll let Antonio drive the motherfucker if he puts his engine in it.
That is one thing I can say. You guys are the fucking kings of drag racing. You have the fucking
Dude,
that's why I came to you.
This deal is fucking wreckable.
I can't fucking spec a stator for my life because you know what?
Because you're dumb.
Fuck you. I have never done it.
It's not hard.
I've never done it. I don't know.
Less degrees is looser. More degrees is
I
tighter.
get that, but I just don't want to do it 9 fucking
my
times.
God.
You know, you've done it 10,000 fucking times. You can do it in fucking probably 2 tries. It's gonna take me a bunch of tries.
2 tries?
1.5. I'll give you that.
I feel like he's insulting me.
That's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
Dude, this isn't a fucking blown alcohol Hemi engine. You might need 2 tries.
But a stator's a stator. Degrees are degrees.
When was the last time you put a race car together? You might be a little rusty. Hey.
Wow.
Hey, I got to give a little pushback.
If I didn't love you, I'd be walking out the door right now.
That was a good one, though. Out of all the shit he's giving me, that was a good.
Laughing at me, motherfucker.
Like, oh,
Hey, I got some good. You know what's funny? So we had. There's this. If you look on fucking my Instagram.
Yeah, tell my twins you said hi.
If you look on my Instagram, one of the last posts was my old white Viper destroying this fucking methanol and this is like in 2020. And the reason why I posted that was there was a podcast going on with this. I don't know if you ever seen that guy, Dan Rue. He does like little dancing.
I know who he is.
Yeah, okay, little dancing videos. The Shop Houston. Listen, I like those guys. There's no beef. There's no drama.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all in good
I get
fun. But I'm going to say 2 things. In when I built McRippin's car the first time, McRippin's had a buddy in Colorado that had the Shop Houston building his GTR. And they were like, McRippin's was 25-0. Destroyed everything.
Like crushing it.
Crushing it. The car just, I mean, it had a shifter cable break once, and then I snapped the fucking, it was I don't know what I did, but I snapped the fucking front of the crank off. It literally broke the.
Whoa. You snapped the front of the crank off?
Yeah, I don't know how. It literally was like sitting in the fucking engine bay. No, it literally broke off.
Just fell off.
It did. It literally just fell off. I was giving a fucking 8-year-old kid a ride for his birthday. It was
It just fell off.
I know
You're
about.
giving an 8-year-old a ride?
Yeah, fucking like 1,700 wheel.
Are these sentences that like sane people put together?
So anyway, back on topic. Back on topic. So the Shop Houston sent this GTR back to Colorado, and stupid little issue like a wastegate line flew off. Shit happens, right? But Ryan beat him. They fly the shop manager up there that day, or the shop foreman or whatever. This guy Mac, he's got real fast cars. He knows what he's doing. He's a younger guy, but flies up there. Tomorrow's gonna be a different day. Don't worry about it. Ryan smokes him again. The car breaks the fucking like front diff or whatever. A win's a win. I don't care fucking what happens. A win.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
So bad times. Like, I think no matter what, it would have been a good race if both cars were working. In all honesty, but all these years go by. Well, I'm sorry, no. They had another car, and this is where the stories kind of go wish-wash. The owner of the car, it was this company in Houston. It was, and there was a video between my customer and this customer, and they were talking about their cars, Calvo Viper, this, that. It was a gutted car on methanol with a fuel cell in it.
That was another Viper?
No, it was a GTR.
Hang on, I gotta go.
Hey, how much shit have you given Billy over the years? Because he seems like he likes to dish out a lot of shit and he doesn't get enough of it.
Oh, he gets plenty.
Oh,
this motherfucker right here.
I feel like Billy's...
We're still relatively new in the relationship, so
Yeah,
relatively
that's
new, only 30
100%
years.
Not true.
over 30 years, there's been
You're over 30
plenty
years,
back and forth.
bitch.
Man. But, so, question for you guys. You guys being more on the... Like I was talking to you before, off camera and everything. How do you look at... There's two things I want to kind of discuss. As you guys being on like more the pro level of racing, looking at kind of the roll race, entry level drag stuff, and the way the world is taking, like the exotics drag racing, because that's more of a thing now, And then the other thing I want to touch on is like, how do you feel the industry? And this is like kind of really want to focus this whole thing on is, how do you feel like the industry is advancing or regressing in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, do you see more people coming out with new products? There's more innovators. There's more, like, you guys are kind of the OGs of this shit. You really are. Like,
You mean just at motorsports in general?
in motorsports in general, like you see,
Definitely. I think it's steady, procession. It's just advancing. It's not
Everything.
making
It just
huge
seems like
advances because the huge
it
advances are
advances
over.
like nonstop.
Yeah, but the huge advances that ship has sailed. Now it's,
That's the problem.
small
is,
advances at a time.
Exactly
Because
right.
everything's already pretty good.
Right.
like, you guys were telling me about that record pass the other day, and the guy's like saying, "I don't want to do that again." It's
Yeah.
and that's not, you're a pussy. You have balls of steel to go a 514. Like that. I love going fast and being dumb, reckless shit my whole life. I don't think I would want to drive that thing.
We've all done that, and like you have to use some.
But saying like the fucking windshield's about to implode, not explode, implode. That's fuck, man.
Well, I
You're
think there's,
breaking the
there's
limitations.
Just a lot of moving components going on there.
But you're physically pushing, like you're defying the laws of physics and stuff.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like it's just a lot of moving parts going on.
And don't you think that's pretty much past the intended use of any of the parts on that thing?
Oh,
The
it's
design
100% past the intended use of all the parts on everything there. And that's kind of where you're at with the Vipers.
If somebody would have told you guys
flirt
10
with-
years ago, if somebody would have said, I can give you a 3,000 horsepower street car that had air conditioning, power steering, you can go drive it to another state out of Texas, and you could put multiple different fuels in it and it drives.
You'd say that's just impossible.
Right.
Yeah,
You'd be like, you're fucking ridiculous. Like, who would say that? You're
but
fucking
it's
stupid.
possible these days, and it's like, at what point do you see like, man, this is just a fucking race car? Like I try to, and that's what I hope to do with with the special project is fucking go out there and just
Well, yeah, for self-preservation, you should do something like that.
yeah, fucking go. I know. I want to
You
do
were
it.
saying about the glass earlier, when you crashed your car, when you had that accident,
All the glass
and
everywhere.
the glass was everywhere. That is a huge problem. Like,
No,
you know,
like
you don't have to be
he
going
and
very
I, we've
fast
been
to have
together
that.
on some of these deals where like I have lost my mind and said, you motherfuckers have said like these cars have to have factory glass. Factory glass injures people.
Yeah.
So basically you're telling me you want me to race in a class that you want me to get hurt if I wreck.
Or door cards, you know, like
If I
you-
want to participate in this deal, I have to.
I have to be a
That-
dumbass.
that's what I told the promoter of the thing. I was like, dude, you're gonna lose me as a sponsor because my customers don't want to do what it takes to win.
Because nobody wants to get hurt, dude.
No, just in general with the cars.
No, but I get the
I want to go
get-
and fucking slaughter. And I
get
know, like, I'm not just saying the Viper platform in general, but I know on a prepped fucking good surface, a rear-wheel drive car can go, especially a fucking 549 cubic inch 10-cylinder with a fucking automatic
Or you
behind.
should pick the front end up and wheelie until you're fucking out of control. And you should have
it should be
wheelie,
like fucking. You
ride
remember
high
that game in the
control.
'90s, or where
You
you, step
shouldn't- you
California cruising, you step on the gas twice and it
You
picks the front
shouldn't
end
be,
up.
you should not be cutting the accelerator because of traction. You should be cutting the accelerator because the motherfucker's going to flip over. You have a 10-cylinder that the whole engine is behind.
Steering rack.
Center line.
Yeah, the axle center line.
It's most
Like
people
this
don't
is like
most people don't understand it. That chassis is actually really fucking badass.
that's what, like
It
he
really
and I,
is.
like he and I were talking about it, and he's like,
Dude, there's no other factory chassis that fucking has it checks all
and
the
he
boxes.
says to me, he's like, "Are we really talking about this?" Like he says to me, he says like, and this is a dude like I trust more than anybody on the planet.
Probably one of the most badass chassis guys in the fucking planet. right?
1,000%.
He doesn't want to say it. One of the most badass chassis guys in the planet.
1,000%.
Wilson. We'll just call him Wilson.
1,000%. And he says to me, "Are stupid?" That's what he says. He says like
It's like,
they got something like we fight with V8s this far in front of the spindle.
the layout, you know, we
Like the basic structure of what we're talking about is you have something that you guys are fighting traction control, but what you should be fighting is really control.
Dude, we had a car at FL2K at Bradenton. Full weight street car, 4,000 pounds. This is a roll race event, a 30 roll on an 18-inch street tire, and it picked the fucking front wheel up fucking 2 inches on a 30 roll. Like, imagine if I would have said,
But
hey,
it should pick it up fucking 2 feet.
you need to scoot that back into your face. Okay. But
always looking
dude, I just heard your hip pop fucking 3 times. The mic heard it pop. The Viper chassis, like
No, but it's
nobody,
laid out
I
really
didn't get
well.
it. And that's what the whole basis of, like, I think my whole success with the Viper was. I never understood it. And then when we had that fucking car go out, I was like, oh, it's going to be like an 850, 870 car, right? Boom, 770, 186. Right. And you're just like, wait, what? And it backs it up with a 780 at 184, and then the fucking motor failed. And then you're like, okay, why did the motor fail? And then you start looking at like the cross-drilled fucking mains and this and that. And it's like, okay, like, well, if we had something besides an AEM version 2 on the car, like we would have had more data, you know? And we did it. We finally put a Motec on it and we learned a bunch of stuff. And then we started realizing, are you peeing in my fucking hallway, Billy? Yeah, that's a really aggressive. Man, you might want to get that checked out. But the Supra was incredible for what it was, a Toyota, And then what was the predecessor of the Toyota in like the modern day? Well, everybody jumped from a Supra to a GTR. And a lot of the guys that had Supras, they went, if they didn't want a fucking another Japanese car, they jumped over to a fucking Gallardo, right? But the Gallardo couldn't drag race. And you start looking for that void of what was the badass car that was missed. And I feel like that was, and I don't, like we're just talking bullshit here. Like the Viper was never on my radar. And then like when that car.
Really? You started all this and the Viper was never on your radar?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I started off in Supras and Porsches. Like, yeah, the Viper was a completely by accident thing. And then like we
Like, you probably hate me for saying this, but the Viper is an awful lot like a Corvette.
But it's not.
Oh my gosh.
But it is. It's like an old Corvette.
Well, you do have the motors behind.
Like a C3 back. I've worked on lots of them.
I mean, dude, I had a C5.
I know you're gonna get.
I had a C5 in college.
No,
I had a C5 in college and the crank.
Here's
walked
where the
on.
shit goes south.
I had a C5 in college and the fucking crank walked on it, and fucking I had to pull the steering rack out of it.
I'm talking about like the Viper chassis.
Yeah.
We were talking about, and the layout and the way things are on the Viper, and that so. It wasn't all the other things that made the Viper so good to do what you're doing. It's the chassis layout.
You are
others
correct.
are
If you want to like actually diagnose like inch per inch, like yeah, the motor sits behind the fucking steering rack.
It's a late model big block Corvette.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You are correct on that.
I mean,
You are.
3,000 horsepower.
Completely different styling and obviously much more power, but like
Man, I'll tell you one thing. I remember
that formula doesn't change.
No, I remember one thing. I will so I grew up in the Northeast, and in Long Island I had this thing called Tobay Beach, and it was, man, I think I must have gone there 2001. I think I was a senior, maybe a junior in high school, and Tobay Beach, the police would literally, it was in Long Island. You're about to say some shit, fucking Billy the Kid, and I see it on your, bro. You can't even.
I'm just
You know
waiting.
what? You are never gonna be able to talk shit to me again because I see it fucking 3 steps ahead before you fucking even say it. You have no poker face. Your poker face is done. You're even done.
I'm just waiting for you.
I don't know if you ever heard of Doug Levin. Doug Levin's like one of the OG Viper guys. Like
OG.
did all the reverse engineering on the factory ECU in the 90s to tune them. He was like out of Fort Lauderdale. But there was a Doug Levin black silver stripe Viper on these fixie FM5s versus green Supra, and fucking they just hit it. And, you're 16, 17 years old, and you just see this fucking Viper, and it goes and just leaves like 250 feet fucking black lines, right? And you're just like,
That's cool.
fucking Viper just smoked a Supra while leaving like 250 feet fucking black lines. Like,
Yeah, it's smoking the fucking tires and that.
fucking smoking the tires, still smoking the motherfucker. And then you're like, those are the two best looking, like you're in high school. Like you wanted a Diablo, a Viper, and a fucking Supra. Those were Diablo is like so unattainable because you never saw them, especially in the Northeast. Like if you saw Diablo somewhere,
Yeah, it's like that's the bomb.
that was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking jerk off on that car. I don't know what it is. Like you just don't see that sort of stuff in the Northeast, especially 90s, early 2000s. But like Supra and Viper, once in a blue moon, and at Tobay Beach there was like hundreds of them, and then there was 2 of them that just like, and you're this kid in this fucking 300ZX that makes like 400 wheel, and it's like these guys just, they were making 800, 850 horsepower, and it just blows your fucking mind how far they accelerated from you. But that Viper, dude, like there's something about a Viper, Supra, RX-7, 300ZX, even like the C5 Corvette, like something at night when they're cruising on the highway under those, like, you remember the lights that were like yellow and the orange?
Yeah.
It creates a different hue for the car to be under, and you're like, that is just the fucking best picture you can ever see of a fucking car. Like, it's something that like just takes that car and fucking intensifies how badass it is and like puts it almost into this like mythological state of fucking badassness. You know what I'm talking about though? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
No, I
it's
like
like,
it. Yeah.
fuck, man. Like that shit is just sick.
Like if you don't see shit that way, then you can't be doing this.
Then you can't
Yeah.
be doing it because
Like,
you just
stop.
have that
Go do
fucking shit in
something
your head.
else.
Like there is like a Gen 2 Viper. People look at that. Oh, she's a fucking Gen 2 Viper. Fuck the Gen 3s. I say fuck the Gen 3s. Like they're good looking. Gen 4 ACR is cool. When you see a fucking badass looking Gen 2 Viper cruising on the fucking highway, you look at that shit 30 fucking years later and you're like, Jesus.
Still a bad motherfucker.
Fucking Christ, that car looks fucking good. Like that
Right.
shit is just
It's always bad.
fucking sick, you know? And then you have one that makes 2,000 fucking horsepower that looks at that and it's like, oh my God, imagine if you could have done this in the fucking late 90s. You know?
Be dead.
Huh? No, you wouldn't be because you'd have traction control. Anyway, I think it's gonna be fucking cool to go take a fucking Viper. Like you guys said, you know, the chassis there. It's the most
It's a kick-ass car.
it's the most underrated platform, and they're just like, I'm sorry. There's certain exotic cars that look really fucking good and sexy. Like we were talking about 355s, Testarossas. Like that shit looks good. I never said 360s. I think they look gay. They look. It's just not the classic Ferrari. 458, I like the 488 Pista, the 488 or the 458 sound amazing. I don't like the headlights. The headlights don't do it for me. Like the rest of the body looks. Pista. That was actually a really fun fucking car to drive. We tuned it, made 700. Yeah, he sold it. He goes through cars. I liked it. Like it was, yeah, I think the Pista was a great car. There's not that many like new.
Ferrari's too rough on the ownership deal.
No, I just don't think they're. I like to be like scared a little bit when I drive it. Not scared, but like the nannies, right? The nannies that
Challenged a little bit.
I fucking like. Sean, you met him with the Gen 4 Viper.
The guy at the racetrack.
Yeah. So I met him. We did like just simple like brakes and oil change on his car. He moved here from New Jersey. And then we all went to Coda together one day and he spun a rod bearing at the track, typical Viper cross-shoulder crank bullshit.
Did you get Watt to fix it?
No. That we did here.
No,
So we
seems like a choice.
So we rebuilt the motor, put an external. It's like the first stage of a daily dry sump pump. We mount to the front of the motor, it's an external wet sump pump. It's got a little billet fucking pickup inside the pan, and rebuilt the motor. We all got to Dakota together, and he's like 3 groups under me. He's a beginner, and he goes, "I'm running 250s," and I was like a average 220. 2 minute, 20 second Coda car. But anyway, so Sean comes up to me and I had a instructor wristband on so I can go in any group and instruct.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, I think my my transmission's fucking up. It won't go into 3rd gear." And I was like, "Dude, I put like 100 miles on that car. There's no way your transmission's fucked up. Like, let me go."
This is a legit 6-speed.
Legit 6-speed. Yeah, it's like just a rebuilt motor, headers, exhaust.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like
very
a 650 horsepower.
Five-
Nothing special.
540.
Yeah, nothing
540.
special.
Nothing special.
It's like a regular Viper.
Regular Viper Gen 4 ACR. So it has some aero.
Oh, so it's ACR. So it's
ACR.
a little special.
Gen 4, not Gen 5.
It's definitely special.
It's a badass car.
Yeah.
So I take him for a ride, and within 2 laps, he's like, "Please let me out. I'm about to throw up." So I let him out. Hey, and he comes up and he goes, I'm pretty sure we were on 2 wheels and like multiple turns. I said, yeah, it's cool, isn't it? And he's like, I, in no realm of my life, thought that that car was capable of doing that. The next day he comes back to me, he goes, I just cut 10 seconds off my best lap.
What?
Yeah, he goes, just by going for a ride with you, I cut 10 seconds off my best lap.
10 seconds off his
literally,
best lap?
He went from, granted, at that time it was very slow.
Gave him confidence.
Yeah.
Well, he knew the car
And then
was.
he knows what the car needs to do.
Yeah.
He said,
like,
he
full
said,
throttle,
I cannot
full
believe
throttle.
you did. He goes, like, he was grabbing the door. You're not going to make it. You're not. And I'm like, you know, and he's like, how does the car? And I'm like, the car can do a lot of fucking things. Like, the main thing is like, look where you want to go and the car will go there. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That's the MO of road racing.
or if you're going
Look where
going
you're
over the
going.
Golden. In my case, I learned it very well going over the Golden Gate Bridge on a motorcycle, and my fucking buddy was in.
Yeah, it's definitely motorcycle.
Yeah, my buddy was going fucking so like we came from. If you go from San Francisco over, what's the fucking next town? It's like not Tiburon, something Salado, not Salado, whatever. It starts with an S. Anyway, went down there, turned around. He was in a Viper. I was on a fucking
Honda Accord.
no. What's the 1000 RR, the BMW? Fucking trying to follow him, and he's like, and he was a very good driver. And we were coming around, fucking dude. I just looked at this wall, and I like literally was staring at the wall, and the road's going this way, and I'm like,
This is a
fuck.
bad thing.
This is a wall. This is a wall. This is a wall.
I'm going to get hurt.
This is gonna fucking hurt. I kicked the wall and the bike went this way. And thank God I didn't lay it over or anything. I just I kicked the wall at like 10 miles an hour. But like it was like one of those things. And then you learn, fucking dude, point your head this way. The car and the bike are gonna go that way. You know, it's one of those things. But yeah, Sean fucking
Big fun.
yeah. And then he learned that day that fucking you don't need a supercar to go fucking fast. That was the
No,
whole
you
point of
don't.
this.
That's the whole deal. That's
The
like
Viper,
what we've been
the
talking about.
Viper fucking fucks. That they're like, I go with my, you saw my red car, my red and white strip car. Yeah. You go manual car, fucking 9-liter. Even when that car was
Big fun.
but it fucking destroys GT4 McLarens. Like you have a factory built race car that cannot keep up with a manually driven street car with fucking stock seats and seat belts.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what we're getting at. Is like, so you have to define what is the difference between the factory car with factory seat belts and the race cars. Right? That's what we're
project.
talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at. Because you've got a bunch of fucking tremendously kick-ass street cars back here. Any one of those, you could spend the money that had been spent on that car
And make a fucking race car that would fuck
and
the world up.
fucking obliterate, like tremendously obliterate. Like all these dudes with these, like underground 4-wheel drives. It's because they weigh fucking 5,000 pounds and got fucking strippers in the passenger seat and cocaine and fucking seating changers. Like when you make a race car, the shit to make it all-wheel drive just makes it heavier. Because
And the Viper
you got a
fucking
Viper
hooks.
that the front cylinder is behind the spindle. And if you weren't a fucking dumbass, the bitch, you'd be worried about flipping over.
I want to be worried about flipping over. I want to say
Oh,
it.
you're going to be worried about flipping over.
Listen, I've never wheelied a car in my life, so
No, I 100%. Alan and I joked about this. And I said,
you guys don't understand. I don't give 2 fucks. You obviously saw the green
you're
car.
going to give a fuck when you're going 150
like,
with the front end
there-
4 feet off the ground.
You'll have listen.
I'm not saying you're going to be scared, but it's going to get your attention.
But like what?
If it doesn't, you and me are
Like
done.
the Mark Mickey car, the Todd car, that does not interest me in the slightest fucking bit, because I think those guys are like, you have to give them so much fucking credit, because there is a different level of balls of steel, and I give no fucks in
I
life.
remember both of those guys have been doing that shit for 30 years.
You want to call Todd Moyer right now, or you want to call his wife? Or you want to call one of his 2 daughters or his crew chief? Because all them dudes
or
are
his
in
main
here.
crew guy,
I'll tell you one thing.
or his crew chief's dad.
Or his crew chief's dad.
That's
He's a really good guy, by the way.
Let me
So his main dude, Chris Krudel, who is a tremendously good friend of mine, is a super duper duper local dude to here.
to Austin.
Yeah,
Who's that?
Chris Krudel.
Gumby.
Gumby Performance.
Wait, did he own the
So-
machine shop? Machinist? Like, wasn't there
No,
a guy
so
that?
he was involved so he worked for Dave Kropp, who was in with Dennis Murray.
That's what I was about to say. He was a heavier guy that died.
Okay, so that was Buddha.
Buddha. That's that. I'm sorry, Gumby and Buddha. I confused those two.
So Buddha was in the whole. So there was this machine shop that was Powerhouse, right? Has Dennis said anything to you about Powerhouse?
Never, dude. Dennis is
Powerhouse-
very.
Powerhouse-
Dennis just. He is the most humble, like just quiet guy.
So
Is like
Powerhouse was a group of dudes. So everybody there wound up being successful. So, but the problem is in their own right. So Dennis was successful in that he had his shit together and did a good job. Dave Kropp came from there and became the cylinder head shop until he committed suicide because he was having problems with Crohn's disease.
okay. I remember that guy. What was the
And
other
then
guy
there
that was
Neil
old?
Lubinsky. There was Neil Lubinsky that was part of Powerhouse that went to prison because he had some issues. And then there was Butch Lake, who was part of Powerhouse, who his brother was August Lake, and he was a prolific motorsports guy in this arena. And then Bill Von Quinnis that owned Austin Performance that later, like John Dinkel bought it out.
No, I remember. I forget the last owner. He not handicapped, but there was something like.
That's Bill Von Quinnis.
Okay, yeah.
He had physical constraints, and that's Bill Von Quinnis for Austin Performance.
Yep, right by.
So I bought the building. So the 60 by 100 that I told you I'm putting at my place. So when, we've kind of talked about doing the Porsches,
Yeah.
that was the original Austin Speed Shop. So the Austin Speed Shop that was.
So it's an existing structure already.
I mean, I have the building, but it's been.
Oh, I thought you.
It's at my place. I've bought the building. The building is at my place.
Wait, so you physically moved a whole structure to your place, or?
I mean, like the Red Arn and stuff. You know, like I bought the building, not the business.
Of course, not the business, but I didn't know if there was like the building was like next to your property, and you bought the property with the building on.
No. I bought the building. The building is
Took it down, moved it over there.
yeah.
It was a metal structure because I'm looking at Austin Performance. Austin Performance is a concrete structure. That's why when.
Well, Austin Performance was the speed shop. Austin Speed Shop was Jesse James. That's two
on
different things.
Lamar.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and now it's like fucking. They put all those hipster fucking condos on there. Not
No, now it's like on my fucking land at my property.
so. Austin Speed Shop, Jesse James, all places on. So you just took the fucking.
Like, why don't you come out tomorrow and I'll let you touch it?
Dude, it used to be
Hey,
behind
you know
the
what? Fuck
fucking.
you, the
it was
men are
next door to
talking.
that pizza place that was really good on fucking
The men
Lamar.
are talking.
Oh. What do I want to touch about? Jesse James, let me tell you, that guy's
He's a
a
fucking
fucking
dick.
cocksucker.
Oh.
That motherfucker owed me 20.
times have I told you?
Yeah.
That motherfucker owed me $2,500.
Billy.
Dude, that motherfucker owed me $2,500. And
Jesse's a dick.
yeah, no. And my girlfriend at the time, back in 2016, she passed away. And my mom came here to help me run the front office and this and that. And she's like, there's an open invoice from Jesse James. I'm like, do me a favor. I'm like dealing with a bunch of shit personally. Like, call him. So this motherfucker,
Cocksucker.
he calls
dude's
me.
rough.
He calls me and he's like, do you know who I am, bro? And I'm like, yeah. Like, dude, you owe me $2,500. Like, why don't you just give me a credit card over the phone? He's like, I'm in the middle of moving, bro. Like, I'm not, this is not the answer I'm looking for. And I'm like, dude, you owe me money. Pay the bill. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, I get it. You're famous, this, that. He's like,
Whatever. The dude's
what?
a fucking dick.
He's a dick. And he was like trying to like kind of flex on me on the fucking phone. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure if like you and I went at it, like you probably could beat my ass because like,
That dude's a dick.
but I found out he's also a big pussy. He's not as tough as everybody thinks and this and that. And so I'm like,
All a facade.
Uh-huh.
It's a dick.
well, anyway, I told him, I said, well,
Dude's a dick.
I was in Dennis's driveway and he called me and he called my mom a bitch on the phone.
What?
Yeah, he called my mom. And I
How
was,
much-
That
your
even come
mom?
about.
well, my mom called him to fucking try to get a payment over the phone.
Your mom was working.
And he's
here.
like, you get this fucking bitch calling me, like I'll pay
Well, he
you when
doesn't
I'm
know
ready.
that's your mom.
And he didn't know it was my mom.
Yeah, like, you gotta.
But it was
I still
No,
fucking
understood, but
fired
you have to
up.
differentiate. You have to differentiate. You can't just say that dude called my mom a bitch like he purposely called. you.
No, but it was somebody from my business. It doesn't matter if it was my front office
Oh,
girl.
agreed.
He's
You
calling
call
my front
mom
office girl a
right now,
bitch.
I would spend.
But that's a totally different level of disrespect right
wreck
there.
your life.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's somebody that's still a woman. Like you have a level of
Yeah.
respect for women. Like, and
Don't call my mom bitch.
And even if it wasn't my mom and it was just a front office girl, you just don't call my front office girl a bitch. He's like, you're just not getting the point. It's like, I pay you when I'm ready to pay you. And I told him, I was like, dude, you come to my fucking shop right now and I'll fucking fight you on Facebook Live.
Did you really tell him that?
Yeah, I did. I told him I will fight you on Facebook Live and
So
I will.
did he pay you the money he owed you?
Dude, the check was here 3 days later. The check was here 3 days later. It was a check. And I told him, I was like, I will fucking beat you to a pummel. I was like, I don't care what it is. Like, you are a fuck.
Antonio's got anger issues.
But you know what I told him? I said, this is fucked up. I said, I went fucking a little deep on him. I said, I used to look up to you when I was in high school about fabricating, you fucking piece of shit. And I realized you're just a fucking asshole. Like, you were the guy that got me into fabricating. Now I want to beat your fucking ass.
He just wants to know how to fabricate Jesse.
That's the conversation we had a little while ago.
You and who?
You and I, we had that conversation a little while ago.
Oh, yeah.
Heroes, people that you look up to and you're
Don't meet your heroes.
be like that guy.
I said, don't meet
then
my
as
hero
you-
is don't meet a Murcielago because they're the biggest pieces of shit. But yeah, dude, like,
But then as you progress and get better at what you do, and
it's true. Don't meet your heroes because they're never going to be.
they're never going to live up to what you expected them to be.
No. It was, and you know what sucks? I watched that dude in high school on fucking, what was the show he had in fucking the early 2000s? No, it was.
The choppers deal.
No, it was the one after that where he would like, we need to build this thing, bro, and it's like, 2 a.m. and I need a Honda 1975 like Elsinore fucking frame, and half this frame's broken, so I'm just gonna make one. And I was like, that's so fucking cool. What was the name of that fucking show, Raymond? He's gonna look it up. But anyway, that show is like, dude, this guy's a fucking man. He's like building Honda fucking like frames and like headers overnight. Like, holy shit, he's a bad motherfucker. And then like you see his fucking SL. It was an SLS that was in there, a white SLS, and it was like, this car is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my. If somebody that was a friend of mine even bought this thing, I would make so much fucking fun of him. Right? Like the fact that he was a car guy and allowed this pile of shit on his fucking property before like killing the person that fucking he bought it from, right? Or the fact that a friend might have built this fucking thing, I would have beat his ass or made fun of him until he kicked his own ass. Like it was the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Biggest pile of shit.
Monster Garage, that was it. Like
Monster Garage.
Monster Garage, like we're gonna build this fucking like off-road trophy truck and I'm gonna fucking race. It's like you're a fucking 15-year-old kid and you're like, dude, this guy's the fucking man. He's got like hot ass wife. He had a fucking Viper that was painted like a fucking snake. Off-road trophy trucks, like strippers, cocaine, fucking, you know, all this shit. Strippers and cocaine solve everything in the world, like except for your fucked up hip. They might have been the cause. They might have been the cause of your hip. You can't even hobble out of here. Okay, hobble. That's his new name, Hobble. But yeah, that was like one of those things like fucking you were saying, like, don't meet your fucking, it's like, dude, I did this work on your car. Like, I'm not rich and famous. Like fucking it's $2,500. And like it was almost 2 months. I chased him for the fucking money, you know? And it's like, fuck dude. Like, you know,
Yeah. Guys like that are just, you know, there's no need to be that way.
no, you have unlimited resources, unlimited money. Like, and the worst part is like you at one point in your life was where I was at. Like whether it was the beginning, middle, end, whatever, like you know how hard it is to fucking do what we do, you know? And it, like that was I think the worst part about that whole situation about like don't meet your heroes is like that dude was like a staple for so long of like fabrication and this and that. And then you like find out like, man, can the guy even like, yeah, he can TIG weld or I can't use an English wheel. I don't know about like that's something like I want to learn how to do. Like I love fabrication more than anything, right? Like metal fab is like my jam. I love it. I can't like there's some people that can make like mirror image quarter panels on like a fucking English wheel, and I look at that, I'm like, how the fuck does somebody do that? You know? And it's like I don't know if he can or can't, but in all the TV shows and everything, like mirror image gas tanks fucking like welded together, this, that, blah, blah. And it's like, holy shit, that is an art of all arts. Billy. Man, I need to get like the guy with the GTRs, Billy, and you, and just put you guys together and just call it Billy. Because he talks more shit than anybody I fought. He's this Greek guy from fucking New York. That would be a fucking awesome fucking moment. Just the two of you guys talking shit to each other. And he's cool as fuck. Like it would be epic.
I'll blow that dude. That's all out,
dude. That car. His GTR is fucking fast. You like it is fucking fast.
How many world championships have you won?
None.
Fuck you. Eat a dick.
That's pretty much the winning fucking. I can't. There's nothing coming back from that. Like, how many world championships have you won?
I got like 7.
There you go.
If you want to come argue with me, you can.
All right, drop that mic. Podcast is done.
Podcast is done.